Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. Death of a Unicorn. Damn, what do I say? Because I think the messages, both social and a little bit bigger than social, I kind of like them. I do. But in regards to cinematically, I think it falls a little short. I think there's a lot more emphasis on the whole message of about maybe not socialism, my bad. Social archetypes. Let's call it that. Um, yeah, I think there's a message there in regards to that. My I think my audio in Discord is absolutely fucked, but it is what it is. Socially, they talked about like greed in regards to corporations and shit like that. But I think I think there was a bigger message on top of that, where Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega actually experienced something beyond just the social rat race of life, where everyone else got kind of caught up in it. From what I've seen in the movie. But I think the overall message, I like it. I like what they were doing there. I can see someone being like eye rolling in the beginning of the movie because of the typical social message of the oligarchs and greedy corporations and the pharmaceutical industry and all that shit. I could see that as being like an eye roll moment for some people. But for me, I'm like, okay. Because I had that one moment in the beginning of the movie where Jenna Ortega touches the unicorn's horn. Pause. Mega pause. And she sees something. And it seems like that's going to be the core thing. That's going to be the ultimate lesson for the movie. And that's what it ended up being, basically. Now, did they do enough as far as as far as keeping that thread, really present throughout the movie? I don't think so. I think it gets lost in some of the plot and some of the I guess lore of the unicorn thing, where it's like oh my god, this thing comes off as like a distraction for the ending moments where Jenna and her dad experience something. So yeah, it's I like the overall thing they were going for, message wise, but cinematically, as far as execution goes, it's kind of just like a silly comedy almost, or silly horror comedy, if you will, and kind of mocking of the quote unquote one percenters, right? The filthy rich people that when they get something maybe that could be something considered maybe magical or important, they end up abusing it for their own riches or their own personal benefit. And Paul Rudd's the character that's trying to become that club or fit in with that club, and then he experiences the ultimate lesson. All right. So, you know what? I'm gonna recommend it off of that, just for that alone. And some of you weirdos out there like me, who like those type of messages, you'll appreciate it. But cinematically, it's not going to do what The Matrix does, or what some of these special movies, Everything Everywhere All at Once, where there's like it's special. That's a special movie, carefully created, versus we want to say this, but we don't know how. Well, we kind of know what we want to say, but we don't know how to like showcase it in a abstract way, which is art, right? And we'll give more credence to comedy and horror and action than anything else. Than even that message. But we'll throw it in there, you know. You'll like it when you get it. But cinematically, eh. And even like the once again, if it's a comedy, you kind of give some leeway for bad aesthetics or bad CGI, and the CGI looked pretty bad to me. The unicorns themselves, they look pretty bad. So, but all in all, I'm going to recommend it because of what I think the message and the point of it is, and what they're trying to say. Like they have an actual message. Yes, it seems like they lean towards some sort of social message, but I think ultimately it's a different kind of message. I think, based on what I saw. So I'll say that. Uh, my grade. I'm gonna give this a 7. 7 out of 10. I think cinematically, the Opus movie was better cinematically, but not as interesting of a message. This one has a little bit more interesting of a message as far as like the tail ends of the movie. The social stuff is like whatever. I mean, kind of easily grasped type things, especially for young people. They probably already get this on Twitter or TikTok or whatever the fuck they watch. But the bookends of the story, I think that's where the interesting message is. And I wish I got more of that. I really do. I think that would make an excellent movie. But cinematically, this movie, I think, comes up way shorter than Opus. But they're getting around the same grade because of, I guess, my appreciation for what both movies maybe were trying to do. In my opinion, this might be like slightly uh, worse than Opus, like very slightly, but they're on the same par, I think. Which, you know what? If this is the bottom level, if this is the basement of films, I'm okay with that, right? If it's just brainless drub fucking mush in a fucking bowl, like yeah, that's gonna bother me. But I don't think it's brainless mush. I think there's something they're trying to do with it, and I find that interesting and worthwhile. Thus, I recommend and I give almost almost a good score. You know, hey, it is what it is. Maybe movies make a comeback. If this is the bottom, once again, if this is the basement, this in a movie like Opus or the basement of film, I'm fucking winning, bro. That's a W for Jordan. That's a win for me. So, you know what? I appreciate this movie. All right. Anyone want to say anything before I end this review? Anything at all? Please go ahead. Please do it now. Do it, or forever hold your peace. No one. All right.
Crazy.
What's that?
The movie's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy movie for sure. But I kind of get where they were going, and the thread was, I think, very shallow. But the bookends of the thread were, I think, pretty cool, and I don't mind that in a movie. But it is what it is. Anything else you want to say? Please go ahead. No. All right. All right. There's your review for Death of a Unicorn, starring the super she's probably already a superstar, right? Jenna Ortega. Good for her, man. Good for Jenna. Go ahead.
Yes.
All right. She needs to start upping the caliber of film she does for me, but as of right now, as like kind of, she's not a teenager, but I'm sure she kind of represents teenage heartthrob chick, right? The teenage hottie chick. But I'm sure she's much older than a teenager. Whatever. Point is, good for her. Just do more. Do more and do better. It is what it is. All right, there's your review for Death of a Unicorn. There you go.